親人喺前排，朋友排親人後面。
I'll start by asking you about sort of the interest in continuing to focus on queer people in this demographic. Your previous film, Twilight's Case, focused on two men who sort of discover or are able to live their true selves in elder age. But in this case, the couple at the center of All Shall Be Well have lived a happy, fulfilled life together. Their challenges here are different. I wonder if you could talk about wanting to make another film in this demographic that touches on different issues facing the queer community in Hong Kong.
Yeah, I mean, I actually didn't set out to make another movie about an older generation of queer people, but actually in 2020, when the movie of Twilight Kids was releasing in Hong Kong, I went to a talk about the Hong Kong LGBTQ inheritance rights. And during that talk, the speaker quoted a few cases very similar to the storyline of All Shall Be Well, a same-sex couple who have been together for a long time, very open to their family members. And when one suddenly passed away, the surviving partner have all these issues with the deceased family members. So I thought, that's a very interesting story and also can reflect the lack of rights for LGBTQ community in Hong Kong. So I interviewed some of those people involved in the cases and decided to write a script about that and to also question what is the meaning of family in the modern context. Is it really just about blood relationship, or is it about someone who has been with you for a long time, supporting you, but actually have no legal rights at all? And who is closer, who is more important? So that is the kind of topics that I want to explore.
What surprised you the most when you met some of these people affected by the inheritance rights, who were thinking about the future? Were there some of the reactions that you found surprising or unique?
Well, the most interesting thing was that in Hong Kong, I think a lot of people are very scared about talking about death. So I asked them, so what have you done, especially in Hong Kong? There is no recognition of same-sex marriage, even though if you're married overseas, say in the United States or Canada, the Hong Kong government do not recognize your marriage. So you won't have any rights at all. So how would you protect your partner? And so I interviewed a lot of these couples, and then the answer was quite strange to me. They said that, well, if I pass away, my sister would know what I wanted to do, or my brother would know what I wanted to do. So I said, that's very interesting, because you have a partner here who's been with you for all these years, and say if suddenly you are not here, her welfare is going to be depending on what you think your brother might be thinking. I said, wouldn't that be too optimistic? And then they said, oh, no, that's fine. All shall be well. So that's why I call the movie All Shall Be Well, because it's an ironic title just to make sure that people, you have to make protection for your loved ones because you never know what will happen tomorrow.
Patra, what was it about the screenplay that you felt that you could tackle in a unique way? What was it about the relationship and the central conflict that enticed you?
Well, a lot of things entice me in this particular movie. Number one, there is not too many chances for a 72-year-old to play the lead. That's for one thing. So that would be a great attraction. And the second attraction would definitely be working with Ray again. And he's a very nice guy to work with. And because I'm theater trained, so I like the backstory and also, a bit of rehearsal time. And that would make you live in that character. So, even if we are strangers offset and we never met before, we never worked before, but after those, your situation and your improvisations, we did look like a family and feel like a family, and that's important in a film like this. And also, the emotional journey, we draw the entire emotional journey for that particular personality, and which is very important because, films do not have the luxury of playing, okay, day one is day one in the film. Sometimes you do the last scene on the first day, and then you have to catch the right emotion. Otherwise, it will be kind of stereotyping, which I don't really think I want to do. So that's what draws me.
Something, watching the film that's fascinating to me is that I felt like I was very angry for the character most of the time, and the anger was not on screen. And I feel like that's something really beautiful about the film, that she's always thinking about the notion of family and sort of like keeping things together and well. I wonder what you were going through performing this character. Were you angry for her?
Well, I kind of feel a suppressed anger, and that's what I think should be, not like, wow, throwing and tantrums and all that. But there is this suppressed anger because I know there is nothing I can do, and yet I feel the anger. So what do? Is to try to suppress it and try to fight and see what I can do. And that, I think, is what needs to be done.
For you, Stan or Michael, what was the sort of your first reaction when Ray mentioned the subject matter of the film and his intention of making this film?
The first reaction was yes. As a distributor, I previously worked with Ray on his earlier films, and then as a producer, I worked with Ray on his last film, Twilight's Kiss, or Suk Suk. He's a great guy to work with. He's a very collaborative director, and so the process was just something I wanted to be involved in from the beginning, and I was really thrilled to be involved at the start, and I was really thrilled with the outcome of the film.
Yeah, I kind of saying the same thing Michael said, because I also worked with Ray in Twilight's Kiss, and I worked with him in his previous movie in New York, Front Cover, and when he brought this idea of All Shall Be Well, we're like, hey, why not? Of course, everybody gets along with you. I like the way you're aesthetic, and I heard that you were thinking of bringing back Patra. So, and I like Patra a lot. Yeah, as a matter of fact, a lot of the crew that we had on this film was the same crew that we had in Twilight's Kiss. So you can see how much of a kind of family atmosphere that created.
I think that's something very important on a modest budgeted film. You need to have a very committed, loyal crew and cast that really becomes like a family. So I think that helps to make up for the lack of excessive funds.
Plus, everybody already worked with each other before, so we knew how to deal with each other's personalities. So I think that was very, very important to have that that camaraderie in this film. So.
Ray, watching your film, I was thinking too that perhaps in the U.S. and in certain countries where the cause of the LGBTQ plus community has been more advanced, not perfect, but there's certain rights that have been won, we tend to forget that the entire world doesn't function the same way and that the battle is ongoing. Is that something that you encounter showing the film around the world, that people are surprised perhaps to know the situation of queer people in Hong Kong in particular?
Well, actually, you'll be surprised. I mean, the film was shown in Berlin, and then one of the first audience member during the Q&A, and it's a straight guy, and he's a European guy. And then he said that, well, actually, I can very much relate to this story, even though I'm heterosexual, because I was married and I had a long-term partner. And after my partner passed away, we also have to deal with this issue as well. Because a lot of the time, like if you see in the movie, it's not just about the properties, the inheritance, but it's also about human relationships. It's like sometimes when the disease didn't lead things clearly, and there's a lot of confusions, and then a lot of the old issues or emotional scars will come up, and then your relationship with the deceased partner, family members will change. And that is actually very relatable to a lot of people. It's not just about the money, it's not just about the properties, but it's a lot of things that's unsaid and untold. And those things becomes an issue.
Before we wrap, I wanted to briefly ask about the the spiritual aspect of the film. We see early on that Angie doesn't even get to choose where the remains of Pat, and so you give her this sort of like at least her version of that in the end. Talk about the spiritual component to the film.
Yes, I think as you can see in the movie, Angie really was very helpless. There is a lot of things that she wanted to do and she couldn't. And so that's the one thing in the end that she felt that she was able to do is at the very least to satisfy what Pat had wanted. And that is something I think that gave her, in the movie, you can see that she had that little smile after she did that. Although it wasn't Pat's ashes, it was the yellow petals, the yellow flowers that Pat had loved all her life. So I think for her, it's a sense of freedom, a sense of that moment of sort of like letting go and feeling that, I think in the script I said that at that moment, Angie realized that she is alive and she should cherish it. And I think that happens to us all. I think at a certain time in our life, we will always lose our loved ones. And then how do we survive from that? I think it's always the memories and also trying to be thinking that you are happy that you are still here.
Thank you so much, Ray. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you.